The point of this video is to show you my basic process for recording at home, which is different than when I'm live or when I go outside and record. But I'm going to show you how I set up the camera, which is an iPhone, that's what I use for the camera, how I set up the mics and the interface. I use GarageBand, and I'll show you how I sync it all together on my phone. These are very inexpensive microphones. The brand name is called Pyle. You can get them on Amazon. It's upside down, but you can see it says Pyle. Get them on Amazon for about $10 each. There's an overhead that's just on a boom microphone stand. Comes down, there's the base of the boom. And then this is just a little baby microphone stand that I had to drop down. And then this is another one of the same mics essentially. So this is another Pyle microphone. Another crucial part of the recording setup is an audio interface. So this is a Presonus Audiovox USB. Into the first channel, number 1 here, is the overhead mic, and the second channel, number 2, is the kick mic. You can adjust the inputs, so it's about in the middle, and the kick's kind of on the low side. And it also has a headphone volume, and then that has an output that's a USB. So I have a Mac laptop, and that's what I use for recording. I just happen to have a Mac. Works well. And I just use GarageBand. So if I open up GarageBand, so we're going to say new. We're going to call this an acoustic instrument. We'll call this giveaway. Press enter. Okay. Track. I'm going to say new track. So it's a real instrument. Well, I should have made the, we're going to go new track. We're going to call this real instrument. Also, I should have made that first one just a real instrument. So command delete, I'm just going to go delete that. Okay, so now we have 2 tracks, but right now the computer is just using its own microphone as the input. So I'm going to take the USB output from the interface. I'm going to plug that in. Then on this version of GarageBand, at least, it's going to give you 2 warnings. Number of MIDI inputs has changed. Okay, I just press return. And GarageBand is scanning your system, and it found the Audiovox USB. And do we want to use it? You just press return for yes. So now, the first channel is highlighted. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to change this. It says stereo Audiovox USB. I'm going to change it to mono Audiovox USB. So that means that this first track is just the first mic, and then I'm going to do this the same process here. I go over here, I'm going to change it from stereo, and I'm going to change it to mono USB 2. So basically what we just did was we assigned the kick to the second channel and the overhead to the first channel. So now we have 2 channels of audio. And now in this case, just to show you, I'm going to drop a track in here. So we're going to go Dave McKay. Let's find a loop. Okay, so it's a cool bass loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's move this down a little bit. So I'm going to grab this track, which is the Dave McKay bass loop. I'm going to drop it in to GarageBand. And if you notice, I left a buffer. I leave about 4 measures buffer, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll show you why I do that in a couple minutes here. But now you can see that if we go into here and we play this, once it gets to that track, it starts playing it. You can see the audio. It's coming out the headphones out of the interface, so you can't hear it. You have to have your headphones on to hear it out loud. And for whatever reason, these tracks are always too loud, so I always drop them somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 or 10 decibels, but you can mix it later too once you have the other stuff recorded. Okay, now one other really important thing is, right now if we were to record, we would record over this track, and we don't want to do that. So you take the recording off of there, and you turn on recording the overhead and the kick. And so now we're ready to record. So I get the camera set up. I like an overhead shot. So I have my camera mounted on the roof. What I did was I put like a hook for hanging a picture, and then this is actually a magnetic hook that you would put into a car vent, but it's attached to that hook, and then the phone has a magnet in the case, so it's just magnetized up there. And so what you want to do is you want to start recording on the phone. I can reach it. Okay, so you start the recording there first. So that's now recording video. Alright, so now we have the camera recording above, and we're going to get ready to record our audio. All you'd hear from this is the drums loud. So remember that the first channel is set to record, the second channel is set to record, first one set up to mic 1, second one mic 2, which is the kick. This channel is not going to record because we're going to play over the top of that. And then you press record, and I'm going to click my sticks a few times so that I can see it in the camera and so that it picks up the audio with the mics, and that will help me to sync the video later. So here we go. Okay, and then if you press spacebar, that stops the recording. And now we'll listen back to what we got. Okay, so just a quick note here. If I tried to listen back right now, it would all be coming through the headphones, through the interface. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the interface. I'm just going to reach here. Unplug the interface, and I'm going to get 2 warnings again. Audio box has been disconnected, so I'm going to press enter. Then it's going to tell me the number of MIDI inputs has changed. I'm going to press enter. And so now, when we play, it's going to come out of the computer, which is fine. You can also do it through the headphones, but for this purpose, I'm going to use out of there so we could hear it. Okay, for this next part, you could basically put in as much time and effort into it as you want to mix the sounds. Now, one thing I noticed is that track 2 was peaking a lot. So I'm just going to play a section right here. Press spacebar to play. And actually track 1 is too. You can see that they're going into the red. So those signals were a little bit hot, so I'm going to just turn them down a bit. Right now I have this first track highlighted. If you go over here to edit, you can add some compression. You can add noise gates, you can add other stuff to it as well. So let's just mess with the compression a little bit. So this is just going to be on the first track. And there are a lot of different presets. So let's go drum kit, Titan. You can go to master track. Then I'm going to turn reverb on. I'm going to turn some compression on. Let's try rock basic. Let's go back to the beginning of the track. So I think that sounds fine. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now. You go to share. I'm going to send song to iTunes. And then I have a playlist in iTunes that's called drums. I don't mess with the rest of it. It's just got my name. It just automatically fills that in. And then I'm going to press share. And so then iTunes is going to come up. And then if we look in iTunes, started playing. If we go to my playlist, we're in the drums playlist, which is where it is. You can see it right there, giveaway. And so now I'm going to connect my phone and sync that playlist to my phone, and then I'll have that track on my phone. I'm just going to plug lightning cable into my phone. And then it's copying the giveaway, just that song track basically. So now we synced the song to the playlist on my phone. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open iMovie. Then I'm going to create a new project. We're going to make a movie. And then we're going to select that video, that's the overhead. We're going to create movie. Scrub to the front. And then what I do is I scroll through here. What I'm looking for is where I click the sticks together. So what I do is I come to right before I'm going to click. So there's a first click. So I go right there, click on the video clip, click on split. I'm going to click on this side and I'm going to delete that side. So now this starts right at the first click, which is what we want. And we're going to add plus sign. What we're going to do is we're going to go to audio, playlist, because that track is saved to drums playlist. It's the giveaway track, and then we're going to use that one. Okay, and click on this, put it in the foreground. You just click on foreground. And then I'm going to go here, I'm going to go to audio, and I'm going to mute that because I don't want to hear those clicks. I'm going to start playing it, and I'm going to listen for the clicks in this track. And I always have to turn this up, so I turn that up to 150%. I'm going to start playing this. Okay, there's the first click. So I go back somewhere before it, go back to the scissors right here. I'm going to split. I'm going to click on that side and I'm going to delete that side. Then I hold down on this, I'm going to drag us to the beginning. Then we're going to watch and see how close it is. Alright, so that's pretty far off. So I think we were early. 1, 2. Okay, yeah, that first one was a little off. So I'm actually going to pull this back a little bit. You can bring the clip back. Okay, so that was pretty good. So now what I like to do to double check is I click on this one, click on the little sound thing, then I unmute it, and then I can hear both clicks. So you could hear, it's kind of hard to get used to it, but you could hear that this one was early. So I'm going to move that one forward a little bit. We're going to try it again. So just barely flam that time, so I'll try moving it forward just a little bit more. Okay, and there's a little bit of a flam there, but it's pretty close, and what you'll see is that if you mute this and we play it, so we're not going to hear this audio, we're just going to hear the audio we brought in. That looks pretty good. Okay, then I'm going to go to right here before the bass starts right there, so I'm going to come back a little bit. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to split it. I'm going to grab the audio track. I'm going to split it. I'm going to go back up here, and when I delete this, it's going to delete both of them. So now we play, and then our track starts basically immediately. And then what I do is I go to the very end, and then I come back to where, okay, crash out. Oh, that should be plenty. So I'm going to split. Go down here, I'm going to split, delete. So we have about 304. Press done. Then I press the box with the up arrow. I'm going to save video. And then I'm going to save it as HD 720. The reason why it's only 720 is because I used the front facing camera on this phone when I was recording. And that's only 720. So this is going to save. Okay, so it's done. Photos, the movie was exported to your library. Press OK. Then if we go to Photos and go back, I'll go to Albums or just go to Videos. That's the easiest way. Go right here. We can see there's our video. Starts right there.